Everyone sees the photos of Glacier in summertime surrounded by crowds. There's no parking. Logan Pass is filled. Well, have you ever thought about coming to Glacier when the temperature drops and the snow falls? Not that there's that much snow right now, but you know what I mean. So today I am going to take you on a hike with me in wintertime Glacier, and I'm going to talk about some pros and cons of visiting Glacier National Park in wintertime conditions. So definitely stay tuned for that. Hi everyone, my name is Laurel and welcome back to my channel, A Lady Loves the Trail. If you're new here, I'm a midlife woman proving that adventure does not stop after the age of 50. Today I am going up the Trout Lake Trail. I am not sure how far. You don't have full views today, but it still is gorgeous. So let's start with the pros. Main obvious one, the most wonderful pro of all, is the lack of crowds here in Glacier National Park. Very few cars here. It's so nice. It's so quiet here. Usually there's Harleys roaring down the road and all sorts of traffic noise. That said, I am on a very obscure trail, but I can tell you when I was coming in, there wasn't a line at the entrance station, and I saw it's about, what, a 10-mile drive from the entrance station to basically where I'm parked. I saw maybe 6 or 7 cars. For a Saturday when the weather is actually pretty darn decent for December in Glacier National Park, I'll take it. One of the major bummers about visiting Glacier in summertime, as beautiful as it is and as much as it is worth it, the crowds can be overwhelming. I can't walk uphill and talk. So, let me catch my breath here. All right. Pro number 2 is there's a lot less barriers to entry this time of year. And what I mean by that is at this time of year, there's no vehicle reservation system. At this time of year, often the entrance stations are actually closed. I was, again, I mentioned a little surprised that the entrance station was open. In the past, they have not even been open, so you just drive right in. And quick tip here, I've read, it's unofficial as of the filming, but I've read that they are going to abolish the vehicle reservation system. The National Park Service is going to get rid of it. Oh, and you may be wondering, why do I speak with such authority about Glacier National Park? Well, I live in northwestern Montana. I'm actually from Browning, Montana, which is on the east side of the national park. And I've been going to Glacier since I was a kid, and I'm 52 years old. It's one of my, if not my favorite place on planet Earth. It's so beautiful here. I think everyone on planet Earth should see Glacier at least once. Okay, for pro number 3, and I know it doesn't look like it right now, but generally Glacier has an amazing amount of snow almost all winter long. But along with that beautiful snow is the access to some amazing snow sports. What are snow sports? Well, there's cross-country skiing, there's obviously snowshoeing, there's, when it's safe to do so, backcountry skiing, and just hiking in the snow with either snowshoes or just your tracks on or just a good pair of boots. And it is just so much fun and so beautiful. And yeah, I recommend, if you have the time and the good weather to do so, definitely check out Glacier for some of the snow sports. Pro number 4 is spectacular winter scenery. Glacier is beautiful any time of year. It's stunning in summer, but there is just something so amazing about the mountains and the trees and the rivers in winter, covered in their winter snow blanket. It is just so beautiful. I know we've been kind of experiencing the same view here for the last few points, so I'll bring in some photos of some of my previous winters forays into Glacier to show you some of that gorgeous mountain snowy scenery. And for my final pro, I thought I'd do a full screen so you can actually see what I'm wearing and what I'm bringing with me. Pro number 5 is generally there are no bears out, and mainly there's no grizzly bears out during winter time. Now,
I say generally because, well, for example, it's 50 degrees out here. Who knows what the bears are doing with this warm weather? As you can see, I'm always prepared no matter what time of year that I travel into Glacier, winter, spring, summer, fall, whatever, especially fall. Oh my goodness, I carry my bear spray with me. It's really nice in winter not to have to be so what I call bear paranoid. So that is just a personal pro for me. Maybe you have some other pros. And then just quickly, I wanted to add a 6th little bonus pro, and that is there are so many wonderful opportunities for beautiful photography. And that just goes back to that pro on the scenery is so beautiful. But if you're a photography buff or an amateur like me, it is just so interesting how different it is, summer light versus winter light, with the snow on the ground and when you have a bluebird sky, the white peaks against the bluebird sky. It is just chef's kiss as far as beauty in photography. Okay, with that, I think I'm at my turnaround point. I'm gonna pack up my little situation here and then head back down the trail. So con number 1 for visiting Glacier in winter is you have extreme limited access to roads and trails. You know, maybe I can do it like this. It's not as nice of an angle, but at least I can kind of film and walk at the same time. I'm losing light here. Still see where I'm walking. One of the main attractions for Glacier is going to the Sun Road, and needless to say, it's closed almost entirely in wintertime due to snow. So no access to roads, and then along with no access to roads is very limited access to the trails. Along with that limited access to trails, there's also limited services. There is basically nothing open in West Glacier. And I know St. Mary's on the east side is the same way. The whole thing just shuts down basically in winter. So there's no restaurants, there's no flush toilets, as we discovered.
Well, darn it, the bathrooms are closed. I thought they stayed open in the winter. Guess not. Small price to pay, have the place to myself. I can stop here and unfortunately use the outhouse. Yay. Okay. Don't worry, I'm not going to show you the inside of these. I'm going to traumatize you for life.
There's basically, yeah, you're on your own out here in wintertime. Of course, there are towns nearby, especially on the west side, like Coram, Columbia Falls, and of course Kalispell, where you can access all the services that you need. A little less so on the east side. Browning is probably your best bet to get groceries and get something to eat at a restaurant. So definitely a con would be the lack of resources like restaurants, gas stations, grocery stores. Our third con is the unpredictability of the weather in Glacier in winter. And again, I speak from experience. I've been in Glacier in some really terrible weather and unexpected at that point. You know, obviously we're going to check the weather report before we go out for a ski or a snowshoe in Glacier, but sometimes weather moves in and it can be really dangerous and it can be really cold. And unpredictable weather can lead to some unintended consequences, I guess you could call them, if you're not prepared for that rainstorm that just blew through, or for that windstorm, walking through a burnt forest in the windstorm, huh? How terrifying is that? And didn't bring that extra layer and an unexpected squall, snow squall blows through. Just something to be aware of, and for many people, that would be a con. And related to unpredictable weather is the cold. It can get so cold up here and you just have to be prepared for really, really cold, sometimes unexpectedly cold temperatures. And what does that mean? That means having an appropriate layering system. Do you have your hard shell? Do you have your mid layer? Do you have your base layer? Do you have warm boots? Do you have warm gloves? Do you have head covering? all the things that you need to make sure you have with you in case temperatures unexpectedly drop. And even coming out in Glacier on a beautiful bluebird day, it could be 15 degrees below zero, and you just have to be prepared for that. And that, again, could be a con for some people, especially those who are unprepared. And the final con is something that I would say would be higher consequences in winter if something goes wrong. Or another way to put it, it's a higher risk versus reward. And that's because of all of the other things we just mentioned. There's rangers in the area, but they're not going to be patrolling the trails or the backcountry generally for situations in winter. Medical help is miles away. From the cons, we know that people are sparse in Glacier. So if you're out by yourself or with just one other person and someone gets injured, there's not going to be a bunch of people on the trails or in the backcountry there to help in any sort of emergency situation. Avalanches in winter, especially for people who travel in the backcountry like skiers and snowshoers like myself, avalanches are a terrible risk. We're looking at something called Rogers Peak. And speaking of objective danger being higher in winter in Glacier, a couple of springs ago, a friend and I were hiking up here, snowshoeing, and we ran across a huge avalanche in this area that came right off of Rogers Peak. We weren't there to see it come down live, thank goodness, but we saw the aftermath of it. I'll bring in some photos, I'm sure I have been, to show you all the snow that came down. And it was just very sobering, very sobering. Now, of course, you can do things to ameliorate that risk, such as check the avalanche forecast, check the weather. And I say that laughingly, but a lot of times people, they don't do the obvious. Unfortunately, there have been people who have perished in avalanches in Glacier. If you do happen to be able to access a trail in Glacier in winter, you will notice that trail maintenance is just impossible. So there could be any manner of barriers on the trail that you might encounter. Oh, here's another one.
So I'm back at the house. It's been a few days since I was in Glacier, and I'm finishing up here because I was rushing down the trail so I could get the sunset. The sky had started to clear as I was hiking down and talking about the cons, and I really wanted to get some beautiful shots of the sunset and some B-roll for some other videos. B-roll in Glacier is just really wonderful. Wow. And I'll try to bring in some of the B-roll I shot while I'm recapping our pros and cons of visiting Glacier in winter. All right, just quickly, the pros again to recap for visiting Glacier in winter are no crowds, less barriers to entry, abundant snow sports when there's snow, some gorgeous winter scenery as we've seen. The bears are hibernating, hopefully. And then the bonus tip is great photography opportunities. And now for the cons. Cons are very limited access to roads and to trails, especially going to the Sun Road. Limited services, meaning not a lot of gas stations, grocery stores, restaurants open near Glacier or in Glacier in winter. Have that unpredictable weather, potentially bitter cold weather, and then you have a higher risk versus reward, or maybe another way to put it would be a higher objective danger. With that, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did and found it helpful and informative, please consider hitting the like button and please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next one.